Okay, we just finished the wheel hub, so now we're going to be making this deck using thin features. So we're going to be starting on lesson 5 now. And first thing we're going to do is we come down and we need to set up some lines for construction using the front plane. We just make a part. We don't have to make this template thing. And we use our origin here to sketch it. We're going to use our, we're not going to use the dynamic mirror. We're just going to use the mirror entities. And we're going to create a midpoint so that this is equal on both sides of our construction. So let's get started on that. So front plane. And then I'm going to make a sketch. I want to pick a line, center line for construction purposes. So it says for construction. We're going to go up a distance. We're going to go across a distance. And then we're going to go up a little bit here. We're going to hit OK. We're going to use a smart dimension. So this is going to be 500 millimeters. All right, so first thing, once we start putting in our measurements, if by chance we don't have it in millimeters, we go to Tools, we go down to the bottom, Options, Document Properties, Units, and then we make sure that our millimeters, grams, and seconds is used. We hit OK, and that'll show it there. So we have, this is going to be 70. All right, so we have this. I did not smart dimension this, but I did it a height. I can smart dimension. Why don't I smart dimension this to be 40 millimeters, mm. All right, so now what we're going to do, hit OK. I'm going to go over here to our mirror entities. And I want this line and this line to be mirrored around this line. So you see we got this made here. And we hit OK, that's done. All right. So here we go. So we've created this first part here. That's 1,000 across. All right, so now we have to add these points. And same thing we're going to do here is we're going to go up to this. This is our point. And we're going to place a point on this line. And we want it 650 across. So what we're going to do is we're going to smart dimension this center origin and the point. And we want this to be 325. 325 mm. And hit OK. And then we go on to our mirror entities. And we want this point to be mirrored about, zooming in, this line. And then you hit OK. You see now we have a point on both sides. This guy. All right, so that was our points. So now we're all the way down. We have a measurement 325 and 325 is 650. So we have this. We're all the way down on 10. We have to create a line, an arc, and then another line. So this is a line, this is our arc, and that's another line. And then we're going to mirror entity across the other side. So here we go. Start with a line. And we could zoom into this side if we want. And we want this line to be just kind of, we just want to make sure we don't have it attached to anything. So we don't want that. So this is good like this. I just have this distance here. We're gonna then we have a tangent arc. Now this tangent arc, we want to make sure that it was across even. And then we're going to take another line, and we're going to follow this yellow line until this is straight across. So we got that kind of like that. Looks good. Then we hit OK. Hit OK. Now, mirror entities. We got this line. That's line 7. Let's get it. Delete it. All right, so we got this line, and this line. 6, 7, and the arc. And we want it to be mirrored about, you guessed it, this guy right here. Hit OK. All right, so now we have it across both sides. We want to take another tangent arc, and we want to go from here to that point right there. Okay, we hit OK. So we have this. We just created this, and now we want to add relations. Right, we want to have the left arc. Then we want to control select the horizontal line, and then hit tangent. So here we go. We're going to do add relations. We don't want this one. Get rid of it. Delete. We want this arc. And then control. And we want this to be tangent. So you'll notice the whole thing comes down. Hit OK. We want to do add relations. We want to zoom in. We want this point. And oops, get rid of this. Delete. Delete. And delete this again. So I want this point and this point, 10 and 7, and I want them to merge. Now you'll notice, because these are mirror entities, same thing happened on this side that you did on this one. So you hit OK. Okay, and then we want this one. So we want the left arc and the left point, and we want those to be coincident. So this is the left arc, this is the left arc, and that's the left point. So add relations, left arc, left point, coincident. Hit OK. All right, and you'll see this happen over here on this side and that side. Okay, so let's look at our. So we did all this. Oh, we have to do this 27 degrees and 175. So we smart dimension this line and this line. We want that to be 27 degrees. Right, 77 degrees. And then we want to pick, we hit OK. Smart dimension. This line. All right, so we want it to be angled just like this. And then we want that to be 175. 175 millimeters. Okay, so we got that there. Hit OK. All right, so we have all that. This just talks about how we have this 175 and then we have these dimensions. This talks about, we don't have this. Okay, so this from the leader's property, our arc conditions doesn't exist on this latest version. So we're just going to make this 40 millimeters. We already did that. And we're just going to add a relation to it to finish this off. So the last thing we do here is add relations. We want this point and this line to be coincident. See that? All right. Hit OK. So you can see this is what we have right here. All right, so all our smart dimensions are in there. Oops, that's too much. All right, coming through all this. Okay, here we go. So now we're going to create a thin feature. All right, so we extrude boss base. All right, so we have features, extrude boss base, and we want this to be mid-plane. We want it to be 230 millimeters, and then we want this to be one dimension and 12 millimeters. So, oops, mid-plane, 230. 230. This to be 12. And then we hit OK. And there you go. You got your nice thing here. All right, so at this point, let's file, save as, deck. And I'm going to select this face. And we want to kind of orient it. That's good. All right. Select this face. I'm going to sketch. Line. Select the face. Top view. We draw a midpoint line. So we're going to make this a line for construction. So for construction. Go ahead and click on it. And we want to get the midpoint. And we want to do it all the way down to here. Hit OK. Okay, so what we want to do now that we have the construction line is we want to draw a line and a tangent arc, and we're going to use the mirror entities to duplicate it on the other side. We're going to create a tangent arc, use a coincident and a tangent, and then we're going to smart dimension this. So let's go ahead and do that. Alright, so let's start with a line. We're going to put it right around here to right around there. And we're going to do a tangent arc. It's going to be something like that. And then we're going to mirror this entity. Arc. And on a line around this. Alright, we hit OK. And then we're going to have a tangent arc right across like that. We hit OK. Alright, so now that we have this drawn, this may or may not be kind of difficult to smart dimension this, but let's find out. Sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. So what we're going to do is we're going to start by adding a relation. We're going to add a relation. Oh, let's start by adding dimensions. So we have smart dimension. Right, this is 120 and that's 65 and that's 9 degrees. So this is 120 mm. All right, good. This is 65 mm. Okay. let's hit OK. Hit add relations. We want this point and this vertex to be coincident. Okay, that looks good. And then we want to smart dimension this and that. Oh, let's do a smart dimension. Come on. This. And that. There we go. We want that to be 9 degrees. All right, good. All right, so we hit OK. And then the last thing we want to do is we want to add a relation. We want this arc and this edge to be tangent to each other. And then hit OK. All right? So now we have this great shape here. All right, I'll smart dimension off. And what we want to do is we're going to want to do an extrude cut and then flip it. So let's take a look here. Extruded cut. Through all. Flip to the outside. Hit OK. And there you go. So now we just have to do the same thing on the other side that we did on this side. So we repeat the same steps to the other side here. So we can zoom in, select this face, sketch, line. We want to start in here, do a little bit of an angle. Looks good. Do a little bit of an arc. Draw a center line. Mirror our entities. Not this one. This one and this one. About this line. Connect the two with an arc. And then we want to do our smart dimensions and add relations. So smart dimension, this one is 120 millimeters. This one is 64 millimeters. Hit OK. And relations, this point and this point are coincidence. Hit OK. And relations, get rid of these. We have this arc. And this line, our tangent. We hit OK. Smart dimension. We want this line and this line to be 9 degrees. All right. And then we Extrude cut. Through all. Flip to the outside. Hit OK. Oops. Cancel. Oh, yeah, I guess that's what we want. Nope. Edit, undo. Features. Extrude cut. I guess it's already set on the outside. We got flip side to cut. Oh, thin feature. No. Get rid of that. Let's keep it this way. See what happens. There we go. So just play with that little flip side. Hit on edit undo if you don't get it. If it doesn't go right the first time for whatever reason. So now we have this. You can look at it. This is what our board should look like here. So I'm going to do a file save because that looks pretty good. This talks about using the flip side cut, but sometimes it starts on the outside, inside, whatever. Just click it on and off to see which way your arrow's pointing to get. If it doesn't work the one way, edit undo, and then go back and unclick it and do it the other way. All right, so this talks about mirroring features, pattern mirror. Well, we just basically did it. We didn't have to do that, so we did all that. What we want to do now is we want to select these corners. So we're smoothing out the edges. Click fillet on the features and fillet radius to 250 millimeters. Then click OK. And then we're going to do a chamfer. So here's fillet. Select the 4 edges as shown. 1, 2, 3, 4. Select the radius to 250 millimeters and then hit OK. 250 millimeters. Let me see. I'll look at this again. Seems like it did it. That's what it's looking for. No. Okay, so I zoomed in here so we could see it's just these little corners. So we'll need to zoom in. All right, so let's see. Fillet, that's at 250. And we need to zoom in, and you can see there's this little edge right here. Yep, there you go. That's what we're trying to, you gotta zoom in on it. And that just smooths it out a little bit. I'm gonna rotate this around to the other side, and then do the same thing. Zoom in real close so I get just a line. There you go. And then hit OK. Alright, so that smoothed out the edges just a little bit. Alright, move this back to 100%. Now it says we had a 3 millimeter chamfer, 45-degree angle, and we can zoom in on that too. To the top and bottom. So this is this line and that line across. So we come up here. We want chamfer, 45 degrees. It's set at, we want it 3 millimeters. There you go. 3 millimeters, full preview. All right, zoom in again. We want to get that and that. So we got the top and bottom selected, and we hit OK. All right, once again, I'm going to save it. File, save, right there, because it came out looking good. Set this back to 100%. All right, click this for a heads-up view. So they're just asking you to, oh, what it would look like if it didn't have lines. This one has no lines. So you can see kind of what it looks like, nice and smoothed out. Oops, what do I got? This one. All right, so then add the binding mounts. All right, copy sketches, edit, copy, control. All right, so we're gonna select this face, draw a center line, and then another center line, and then we're going to put a bunch of zeros with the, or a bunch of circles with these measurements. So they're going to be 8 millimeters apart, or 8 millimeters in diameter, and they're going to be 25 millimeters apart and 28 millimeters apart. And then we can just set the set our mirror entities tool to do that. All right, so right in this part, we want a top view. We want to select this guy. Sketch. Center line, find the center point, there it is, draw it from here to there, right, find the center point, that line, draw it from here to there, hit OK, hit OK, pick the circle tool, draw yourself a little circle, make sure you, oops, just click, make sure you didn't pick like any of these midpoints. Did I pick the midpoint? Shoot. I'm going to edit undo that. Alright. Pick a circle. Maybe zoom in a little better. I don't want it to be on this line, and I don't want it to be in any midpoints there. So I'm going to do that. Zoom in. Alright, make that what it is. Smart dimension it. I want this to be 8. millimeters. All right, now that I have the one circle, I want to smart dimension this. So half of 24 is 12, and half of 28 is 14. So I'm going to smart dimension this. This to this is 12 millimeters. And this to this is 14 millimeters. Alright, so now all I have to do is do my mirror entities. So I want this circle to be mirrored about that line and hit OK. Alright, sounds great. And then I do my mirror entities. I want this circle and this circle to be mirrored about this line. Oops. Mirrored about this line. And then I hit OK. And now I'm going to do a cut through all. And just make sure, yep, create a cut through all. Features, extrude cut, through all, click, and there we go. And there's our holes. Now I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. All right. Select the face, draw the circles, make sure everything's done correctly, right measurements. So select the face, sketch, center line, find this point, drag it across, find the middle point, pull it up, hit OK, zoom in, pick the circle, pick a point for the circle, looks good. Smart dimension the circle, 8 millimeters. Here to here, 12 millimeters. From here to here, 14 millimeters. Hit OK. Mirror entities. I want this circle to be mirrored about this line, and you hit OK. Then I want mirror entities. I want this circle and this circle to be mirrored about this line. Hit OK. Features, extrude cut, through all, and there you go. Alright, so we got these circles on both sides. Alright, that just shows you, we haven't made this yet, but shows you where our mountings will go in. Alright, so we're going to do something similar. We're going to put holes through here. It tells you to use the hole wizard, but yeah, we can do that. You can draw circles just like you did before. And I think that pretty much finishes that. So let's go make those circles. Let's see. Oh, this one. So we have these dimensions. So this circle would be, you're adding points here, would be 25 millimeters. Then that one would be 64, and then you would create these by making these 42 across, but equal distance 25 and 64 to make those. So we're using M6 metric. Which means we have 6 millimeter holes. So why don't we just do that? The easier of the ways. So we have one circle. We zoom in here and we basically draw a circle. We smart dimension that. To be 6 millimeters. And we want that to be 25 millimeters from the line. So we smart dimension this point and that point to be 25. And 42 is 21, so we want that to be a distance of 21. We can mirror them about. So this and this would be 21 millimeters. And hit OK. Pick a circle. We want it to be in the same line, so this we can do like this. And smart dimension that to be 6 millimeters. And we want this point and this point to be 64. That seems kind of far. .64 millimeters, it says. That's right. All right, good. 64 millimeters fits in there. And then you hit OK. And now we want to mirror these entities. We want this one to be mirrored about this plane. You know, OK. And then we do extrude cut through all, and we have these holes in there. Now we do the same thing on the other side. Well, let's see. Let's oops. Pick this guy. Sketch. Center line. This doesn't really make a difference, but we can do it there. Hit OK. Pick a little circle. Draw a little circle there. Okay, smart dimension it. 6 mm. Alright, this to this was 25. 21. This to this is 21. Hit OK. Draw another circle. Get 6 millimeters. This, okay. Smart dimension. This point to this point, 64 millimeters. And hit OK. We want to mirror the entities. We want this one and this one to be mirrored about this line. We hit OK. Features, extrude cut, through all. We have that side now. Alright, so we have all those done. Those are all the right measurements. So now we have to put in these 4 that are 8 millimeter holes. And distance from this hole to this hole is 40.713, and then there's a distance of 16 from here. This one is half of that. Okay, so the best way to do this is we have this distance from this line all the way to the center points here is 65.713, and half of 50 is 25.35. So we'll just use those measurements to make our holes, and we'll just make them 8 millimeter holes. It won't be a big deal. So pick a side, click on the face, sketch, center line, draw it across, hit OK, pick a circle. You don't want to do this midpoint. You want to draw a circle. Oops. This circle, we're going to smart dimension that to be 8 millimeters. I'm going to zoom in. Alright, so smart dimension it from this line to this center point is 65.713 millimeters. Okay? And then from the center point here to this line is 25.35 millimeters. Hit OK. Hit OK. Alright, we're going to draw another circle. This other circle, we're going to have it, it's going to be distance across. Hit OK. Smart dimension it. 8 millimeters. And then hit OK. Smart dimension the distance from this one to this one is 16 millimeters. And hit OK. And now what we're going to do is we're going to do our mirror entities. We pick this circle and this circle, and we want it to be mirrored about that line. Hit OK. Features, extrude cut, through all. And then we do this on the other side. Do the same thing, and then we're done. Alright, so click on the face, sketch, center line, zip it across, hit OK, pick a circle, put the circle somewhere, hit OK, smart dimension it to be 8 millimeters, hit OK, Smart dimension this point to that point to be 25.35 millimeters. Hit OK. Smart dimension this to this to be 65.713 millimeters. Hit OK. And then another circle. Hit OK. Smart dimension. This is going to be 8 millimeters. Smart dimension. We go to 16 millimeters. Hit OK. Now we pick our mirror entities. This circle, that circle. Mirror about that line. Don't want that. Delete. Click, click, click. Mirror about that line. Hit OK. Features. Extrude cut. Through all. Hit the check mark. Alright, let's take a look at what we got here. And this is what it should look like. File, save. And you have your deck created.